Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to an all-new edition of War Week Radio. Guys, it's been a minute since we've joined everyone. We had a little vacation for July 4th festivities, but now we're back. And we're joined by five-decade fight trainer, the one and only Mr. James Gogue. James, how the heck are you, brother?
Hey, Joe, I'm doing good. They had some, Golden Boy had a great show Friday night. I don't know if a lot of you folks watched it, but it was a real good show. Robert Diaz made some great matches. And of course, next week, that's a fight I've been waiting for. Exciting, intriguing matchup, for the unified 154-pound title, against a raging bull from Argentina against, the other half of the twins, Lions only, Jermell Charlo. That's a very, very solid matchup. And, I'm excited. I can't wait, for that fight.
Absolutely. It's going to be for the undisputed unification at 154 pounds. Jermell Charlo will be taking on WBO title holder Brian Castano from Argentina. And this is a superb style matchup, Gogue.
Yeah.
One thing that we were just talking about, and wonder if you could shed some light on this, because Jermell is already in San Antonio, and he's been hitting the press hard, doing TV interviews. He went and did a meet and greet to the local AA ball club of San Antonio, the Flying Chanclas, throwing out the first pitch, doing photo op. He's been already working hard. And guys, we're going to be covering this event, doing interviews for everybody. And I just got the schedule. He's going to be busy all week doing media spots. With a fight of this nature, Gogue, is this wise?
Well, Joe, you got to do it, okay? It's part of being one of your professional responsibilities. Week of the fight is to promote the fight, but there's negatives to it too, because like I was just talking to you about it earlier, fight week, your preparation should be focused on training, polishing up your game plan, making weight. Okay, you're already in shape, Joe. You don't need to get in shape. If you got to get in shape the week of the fight, that means you ain't ready, okay? Your weight should be in check, okay? Your weight should be right there, okay? You should be peaking. You should be at peak the week of the fight, all right? So training, polishing up your game plan, keeping your focus, because, a week of the fight, there's nothing but distractions. Press interviews, meet and greets, and all this shit, especially with this COVID shit, this new Delta variant going around, which is 3 times more contagious. You know what I mean? What else? Making weight, like I said, polishing up your game plan, keeping your distractions to the minimum, okay?
Yep. Now, keep in mind, Gogue, we're talking about a 31-year-old 6-foot fighter who's been killing himself to continue to make 154 pounds. In fact, I think this may be his final fight at 154. Boy, I hope he's in a good mood addressing all of the media members, because let me tell you, I've been in some camps, Gogue, where it's been painstaking for these guys, where they don't even want to talk to guys within their own team. How tough is it if you show up to San Antonio and you still have to shed 4 or 5 more pounds?
Well, that should be a problem. 4 or 5 pounds is not that bad. 3 to 4, 5. I mean, you can, it's water weight, Joe. Okay, the week of the fight, what you're losing is water weight. Okay, you gotta be on the week of the fight. You change your diet. You're doing less activity, so you less caloric intake. It's the science of doing it, Joe. You ain't got to make 160 Wednesday of the week of the fight. You got to make it the day of the fight, and it's best to do it when an hour before the weigh-in. All right, so you're not making your body suffer and hold 160 for a day or two. Okay, no. The best thing to do is day of the weigh-in. Maybe come in like 161 in the morning. Hour before the weigh-in. Jump rope or whatever, getting a little sauna suit to take that 1 pound of water off and what do you call it, Joe? Then just wait for the win, an hour later. Or if you're ready, 60 and a half or something, just eat a real light, some proteins, like egg whites or something, you know what I mean? Something that'll burn off you. Keep your energy up, but, burn off you. Stay away from carbs, okay? But proteins like egg, something like egg whites, just keep your energy, keep your strength, but you're going to be dry in the mouth. You're going to be dry because, it's that water weight you're getting off you. Then once you get on the scale, boom, you rehydrate. You get back up to 66, 67, 68 overnight or whatever.
Pedialyte.
Pedialyte, bananas. Main thing is water, Joe. Water and bananas, get that potassium in you. Then the Pedialyte. Then fighters make a mistake. I see a lot of them. Once they make a mistake, they think it's over with. They start eating all the, they start eating the wrong foods. You know what I mean? The foods they couldn't eat in camp, like fried chicken or whatever, steak or whatever. You know what I mean? But the thing is, the food you eat the night before you fight the energy is going to give you the energy you need. It's going to give you the energy you need for the following day. So you still got to maintain that discipline, eating the right foods. I've talked about this, pasta, salads, chicken, baked chicken, water, fruits, juices, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And you don't want to overdo it, Joe, and blow up your stomach where your digestive system is so overloaded where, you're trying to sleep at night. You can't because your stomach is full. You know what I mean? You gotta keep that discipline and maintain that focus. All the little things, Joe, that, what do you call it? All the little things that make a big difference on fight night. The main thing, like I said, is to me, the most important thing is after weighing is get the proper nutrients and the right amount of nutrients. Okay. So you don't be sluggish and, log down, the next day of the fight and everything. But the week of the fight, there's, you got to do all that stuff, Joe. But, like I said, you gotta run a tight camp, man. You got to run a real tight camp. And, with COVID and all that shit going around now.
Yeah.
You got to
in my opinion, they really should have lightened his load in terms of media coverage, right? And media promotion. And what I always go back to when I think of something like this, when it's a favored champion, a guy with 3 titles, unified champion defending his titles against a very tough opponent, guy who can take punches. I go back to Zab Judah versus Carlos Baldomir back in January of 2006 when, Zab Judah, Don King had somewhat of a homecoming for him at the Madison Square Garden, and he was busy all week addressing different media members, doing radio spots, doing all kinds of promotion with the Yankees. And after the fight, Baldomir wins a unanimous decision. And after the fight, they asked Zab Judah what went wrong. He said, ask my promoter. He had me busy all week, and I was exhausted. So we'll see what happens. And once again, Brian Castano from Argentina, and we'll go over the odds later on the show, this is not a dark horse. He is a plus 200. And Jermell Charlo is only sitting at a 2.5 to 1 betting favorite. Guys, this is a very competitive fight. So right now, we're going to look at the tail of the tape for the current WBO Junior Middleweight Champion, Mr. Brian Carlos Castano. He is currently comes into the ring at age 31, fights out of Argentina. He fights out of the orthodox stance, stands 5 foot 7.5 tall, fights behind a 67.5 reach from Buenos Aires. He comes into the ring with a very impressive record, 17 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw against Erislandy Lara, 12 big wins coming by way of knockout. The current number 2 ranked junior middleweight in the world. Gogue, what can you tell us about Brian Castano?
Man, this guy is like a miniature Devonchenko, okay? This style reminds me of the matchup between Charlo's brother Jermell and Devonchenko. A little bulldog, a pit bull, aggressive, physical, straight ahead. high volume puncher. Okay, that's what Castano brings to the table. Okay, he brings it, man. And he's not the kind of guy that is a cutie pie that wants to box you. He's a physical, in your face, in the trenches. Puts his combinations together very, very good. You know, up and down, down and up. Okay, and he's always staying on you. He always tries to stay on top of you. Okay, to overwhelm you. Okay, he's a bully in the ring, Joe. Okay, a physical, aggressive bully, a mentally tough guy too, who can what do you call it, Joe? Take your best shots and keep coming, not getting discouraged. Has a great amateur background too, a great amateur pedigree. He had a lot of amateur fights, so you know that helps out a lot too. But yeah, he's solid, Joe. He's a solid opponent for Charlo. You know, he's a champion too, WBO champion. I didn't think he'd have a problem with that Teixeira guy. You know,
Patrick Teixeira, yeah,
Teixeira, whatever his name is. Yeah, I didn't have a, you know, because this guy, man, once he applies his game plan, which is trench warfare, physical pressure, and you can't handle it, he gonna run you out of the ring, basically, just like that William Zepeda did Tanajara the other, you know, Hector Tanajara the other day, a couple of days ago when they fought. It's that physical hard pressure, Joe. It's the toughest style to fight in boxing. If you're not ready, if you don't have the skill set, or the more importantly, the mindset to handle that relentless attack of Castano. I like the guy. To me, I prefer watching a fight like that than a guy that applies the sweet fucking science. Okay, I want to see that, okay, and I want to see violence. Okay, and that Castano brings it, boy. Ooh, Charlo's got a handful. Oh yeah.
You know what's amazing, Coach, and just talking, just being around the fans of San Antonio, Texas. Even though Jermell is from Houston, Texas, just right down I-10, I have a sick feeling that the great majority of Mexicanos at the AT&T Center, home of the Spurs, are going to be pulling for the visiting Argentine because of his fight style. And don't be surprised, even if he's from Argentina, you start hearing chants of Mexico, because that's how the Mexican fans roll. Gogue, will this be a factor in the fight?
Oh man, if you get that kind of energy behind you, Joe, yeah, it's just gonna make Castano fight harder. Okay, it's just gonna make him more determined. Let me tell you, Joe. Let me tell you this: when you got a determined and hungry fighter that's relentless, that could take your best shot, oh man, you're gonna be in for a long night, baby.
Yep. I'll tell you what, we'll go to the keys to victory in just 1 second. Do you see any chinks in the armor, though, from Brian Castano, from your observation up to this point?
Yeah, when you're a physical, aggressive fighter, you get hit. Okay, there's holes in your defense. Like Miguel Berchelt, he's the same exact way. When he attacks you, there's holes in his defense you can exploit. And Charlo's a good puncher, so he can hurt him. If he can hurt him early on, well, hey, the ball game changes. That respect factor comes into play.
Indeed, guys. So right now we're going to look at the tail of the tape for the current WBC, WBA, and IBF junior middleweight champion, Mr. Jermell Charlo. Guys, the Iron Man is going to come into the ring at age 31. He fights out of the orthodox stance. He stands almost 6 feet tall in the center of the ring, fights behind a 73-inch reach from Houston, Texas. He comes into the ring with a very impressive record, 34 wins, 1 loss, 18 big wins coming by way of knockout. Gogue, what do you like about the Iron Man, Jermell Charlo?
A lot of people don't know. I've known the Charlos since they were like 14 years old when they were boxing at Willie Savannah's gym in Houston, when Juan Diaz, the baby bull, was coming up. I knew all them guys when they were little kids, man. And it's, boy, how time goes fast. And now they're, world champions, grown men, and they made a lot of money. So good for them and everything. But, like his brother, he's athletic. He's tall and rangy. He can box. He can punch. He's mentally and physically tough. Okay. Since training with Derek James, he's become a more aggressive, physically, a more aggressive fighter with a physical mindset. I like that. And, he's fought a lot of, he's beaten a lot of good competition. Okay, that last fight with Harrison, going down the stretch, it was close, or he was losing the fight. And, he slowly broke him down before he caught him with that left hook and hurt him and everything. But what I like about Charlo, like I said, I think he has that mental toughness to handle that hard physical pressure that Castano's going to bring. And when you're fighting a guy like Castano, who brings that hard physical pressure, you got to have that mental toughness and composure to deal with that pressure that's going to be coming at you all night. But you also, if you don't have the skills, okay, to handle that forward, that incoming pressure, it's going to overwhelm you. But James, since training with James, he's gotten away from that, that safety first style he used to have, or bored and stunk the room out to a more front man friendly, aggressive. If he has to, he'll stay in the pocket and you know what I mean, and punch the bully in his mouth, okay, to get his attention. But but Charlo, because of his length, his explosive punching power from range, that I think he's going to want to use that to his advantage, consistently as possible, okay? Because that's the safe zone, okay? The danger zone is when he's in the pocket, okay? So, that's what I like about Charlo. You know what I mean? He's a cocky, arrogant, very, very confident fighter, okay? He had no problem, signing on for this fight, against this, very tough, durable, relentless Argentine guy. But anyway, like I said, Charlo, like I said, I like his range. I like that jab he can bust Castano up with, and that straight right hand right down the middle, boy. And if he gets past that jab, if he gets in that pocket, that right uppercuts is there to kiss Castano right on his chin. Yeah.
Indeed. Want to thank Haplotype for joining us. Thank you for listening in, brother. If you have a question for Coach Gogue, please just lay it on us, and we'll have the coach, the 5-decade fight trainer, answer any question that you might have regarding this or any matchup in boxing. But let's look at the keys to victory for Brian Castano from Argentina. Coach, what does he have to do to become the undisputed 154-pound champion this Saturday night?
Fight is fight. Okay, Charlo tries to move. He's got to, cut off the ring, close that distance where he wants it, right in the trenches. Joe, like I always say, when you're an intelligent pressure fighter, okay, and you don't want to take a lot of incoming, closing that distance, the number one thing you got to do is make sure your footwork's right, okay? Mm-hmm. Sliding in, little by little, get that distance closer. If the opponent tries to move laterally, you got to slide laterally with them, okay? You always got to stay close to them. Stay close to them. Don't let them turn the corner on you, okay? Don't let them create those escape routes. I try to, where's a fighter usually the most stationary, Joe? The corners on the ropes. I try to pin him on the ropes or in the corners where Charlo can't move. Hey, when he does that, that's advantage Castano, okay? Because he has better skill sets in the pocket than Charlo. So I try to pin him on, get him on the ropes or in the corners. But I think Charlo's going to be too smart for that and not let him do that. But, but if he does, once he gets close, okay, of course, one of the keys when you're applying intelligent pressure, of course, is using a nice, good jab. Okay, when you're putting a good jab in your opponent's face, when you're closing that distance, you're not going to take a lot of incoming. It's going to it's going to force your opponent to shut down offensively where you can't throw when you're coming in, because if that jab is in your face, how the hell are you going to throw? And another thing is, he's got to, slip those punches and block those punches correctly with a high guard defense, so you don't get hit solid. But Joe, when you're closing the distance on a guy like Charlo who can punch, the most important thing ain't the fucking punches you're going to throw. It's the defense, not getting hit by the incoming. All right, starts with footwork, like I said, with good jabbing your opponent's face, head movement, and blocking those damn punches. Okay, once your defense is correct, okay, you're not getting hit a lot. Then once you're in the pocket, then you go to work. fundamentals. Make sure your fundamentals are good. Good proper stance. You're not squared up on Charlo. You square up on Charlo, I guarantee you're going to get hit by that uppercut, that left hook right uppercut, which he likes to throw. You know what I mean? Inside, you're going to get hit by that. So don't square up. Point your lead shoulder, angle your body where you're not being you're not being what's that word, Joe?
Susceptible.
Susceptible, yeah, to getting hit. And but like I said, Joe, the defense is most important. But once you get in the pocket, like I said, you got to have the correct, fundamental stance. What do you call it? Staying low. Mantente abajo, I tell my guys in Spanish. Bending the leg, staying low. Keeping that left shoulder pointed right in the middle of his chest so you're not getting hit by that uppercut, okay? Sometimes it's good, Joe. If you get hit with that uppercut by Charlo, what do? You smother him, okay? Once you smother him by putting that lead shoulder in his chest, he can't throw that uppercut. Then once you smother him and he ain't going to throw that lead uppercut, then you take a little half step back to create some distance, then go on offense.
Roberto Duran.
Yeah, you got to be smart. You know what I mean? You got to be smart. You can't, if you can't block it, smother them. Then step back half a step or full step to get that range you need, the space you need to throw those combinations. Then, once Castano does that, he'll know what to do, Joe. Just put his combinations together, up and down and up, and coming from all angles, okay? And try to keep Charlo a stationary target as possible. And where's that? In the corners or on the ropes.
Indeed.
It ain't no fucking secret, man. You ain't got to be no rocket just to figure this shit out, all right? It's simple. Come on, man. Come on. It ain't that hard. You ain't got to be, come up with some genius strategy. Get the fuck out of here, man. That shit.
Well,
one thing I like, Joe. One thing I like, man. You got a guy like Charlo, man, and he's by the ropes, especially in the later rounds when he starts getting a little bit tired. And he's by the ropes. If he throws that jab and he's by the ropes, I come over with the right hand. I slip and come over with the right hand because that always works, man. When you get a guy, an athletic fighter with a good jab in the later rounds, they're not as alert. They're more fatigued, and when they're by the ropes, they make that mistake of throwing that jab. Yep. Oh my God, they bring that left hand low back, and man, I'd come right over the right hand with that. And that's another thing Castano needs to do is time that jab and go over counter it with the right hand. If he can control Charlo's jab by countering it effectively, there's all kinds of ways you can counter a jab. You know what I mean? Parring the jab with your right hand and jabbing back, that's basic. Slipping the jab to your right and countering it, going over the jab with the right hand, that's another. And there's other ways, man. But that's slipping down a short guy like Castano, who's shorter, who's a shorter guy. He can slip under that jab and go right to the body with a straight right hand. You know what I mean? What you want to do once you discourage Charlo from throwing that jab? Guess what, baby? You know what I mean? It's going to be easier for you to apply that pressure you want. Okay, because you ain't got to worry about that getting hit with that jab and everything. So But Castano, he's a veteran, man. He has a big amateur background. I don't need to fucking tell him this shitter. You know what I mean? He knows. Look at his dad, who's done a great job of training him. They know that shit. It's not rocket science, Joe. This is fighting. All right.
Of course. According to James Gogue, you dance with a partner who brought you. So let's see what happens. And let's see how Jermell Ironman Charlo combats the aggressiveness of Brian Castano. What are the keys to victory for Jermell Charlo, Coach?
Like I said, when you fight a bully like this Castano guy, you got to get his attention early and punch him in the fucking mouth. Let him know to get his respect, to put that fear in him, okay, Joe? If you don't put no fear or respect in this guy, he ain't going to respect you, and he's just going to come straight at you and overwhelm you. Just like that Zepeda did that Tanajara. Tanajara, when he fought him, he had nothing in his arsenal to get his attention, to keep him off him. Okay, but Charlo, he's a good puncher. So whatever the punch he's going to hit him with, the uppercut, the straight right hand, the jab, the 1-2 right down the middle, or them body shots when he gets inside. He's got to discourage this motherfucker. Okay, so there's that attention. Okay, he's got his attention earlier. That means he's not going to be too, what do you call it, Joe? He's not going to have that high enthusiasm to want to come at Charlo if he gets hurt early. So that's number one. Once he gets his attention, Joe, bust him up with that jab. Keep him at range and distance as much as you can. That jab, the feints. Once you start hitting with one thing I've learned over the years, once you start hitting your opponent with that jab or some good shots, they start becoming more, you start fading them, Joe, they become more hesitant, okay? They become more tentative. They start getting off their game plan. You start fucking with their head, okay? That's what feints do. That's what feints do, Joe. They fuck with your head. They get you out of your game plan. They break your timing and rhythm, okay? But that's what I would do with Charlo once I start smashing him with some jabs and them straight 1-2s right down the middle, okay? Even that jab, that double touch jab, right uppercut, he ain't gonna expect it. Get his attention early on. Once you get his attention early on, you'll see, Joe, when that motherfucker ain't coming forward and trying to bull rush Charlo, and he's being more hesitant, and because he got caught with a good shot, he got hurt. Then you can pick him apart. Stay outside, pick him apart, okay? Pick him apart with that jab, with feints. A hard jab to the body too, Joe. You don't want to look, Joe. Mayweather's the best. Ward too. They are intelligent on
controlling range.
They are intelligent on knowing how to use their jab. Okay, they just don't throw that fucking jab to your face. They throw it here and here to your body. They mix it up intelligently with feints. Okay, to keep you off balance, to not telegraph their next move. Okay, so if Charlo could box intelligently with his jab, with them little bitty 10-ounce gloves, he keeps on hitting Castano's face by the 5th, 6th round. It's going to start busting up. But hit him with good jabs to the body too, because if you hit a guy with a good jab to the body, Joe, it's like getting hit with a body shot at close range. Okay, it's just you're applying a long distance body attack. Okay, and mix his jab up proficiently with the feints. Then that's going to set up everything, Joe, from range. That straight right hand, that left hook, that left uppercut, whatever. It's going to be there. That 1-2 hook, right uppercut always works on a short guy like Castano. The jab, right hand, left hook, come back with a right uppercut. Okay, to the chin, or come back to that bitch's body. Okay, hit him with that 1-2 hook to the head, come back with a right uppercut to the body or chin. That's all it's going to land. Whatever is theirs, Joe. But the thing is, that's going to be the key for controlling him at range. Okay, his footwork, staying off the fucking ropes, staying out of the corners, pivot out of there, find escape routes. Okay, be Houdini, disappear from them ropes or the corners. Okay, with pivots, circling him, turning him. Or Joe, if you can't get out the fucking ropes, and Castano's about to launch his attack, what do? Smother the motherfucker. Just, smother him, tie him up, and walk him out, turn him around, then take him back to the center of the ring. See, that's Charlo's safe zone. It's going to be the center of the ring. He's the key is the real estate where he's going to operate all night. If he's going to be on the ropes and the corners consistently, man, let me tell you, advantage Castano. But if he keeps in the center of the ring, he can look at all that real estate he could use to move in and out in circles, working that jab effectively. Combinations, the feints. You know what I mean? All that shit. But if he does get caught inside, which is going to happen, when you got a bull determined in tremendous condition guy like Castano comes in, it's going to get inside like Derevchenko. Especially in later rounds. So you got to give him you got to give him a baptism. You got to give him a baptism under a fire moment with some good uppercuts. That right uppercut's going to be the key, Joe, if he gets past that jab. Okay? Once he gets past that jab and Castano comes squaring up, I'd sneak that right uppercut. Not even long, Joe, just short, whap. Just wham. Then the body shot too. Hit that body, both sides of that body to break, to slow him down. Okay. Then, like I said, Joe, he's got to have some type of inside game to fight this fucker, okay? To me, that left hook, that right uppercut's going to work, them body shots. And that left hook, right uppercut inside is going to work, okay? Then, like I said, hit him with some good shots. Boom, boom, boom. Then smother him, tie him up, okay? Don't get off some combinations and hit him with some good shots thinking he's just going to look at you. That Castano's going to come back firing. He's a fighter. Mm-hmm. He's a fighter. So you hit him with some good shots, whether it's body shots or uppercuts or whatever, or hooks. After you get yours, smother the motherfucker. Turn him around. Take him back to the center of the ring. Joe, if you fight an intelligent fight, it's not that, to me, it's easy work. But if you fight his fight, it's going to be hard work. It's going to be hard work. But if you fight an intelligent fight, it'll make it a lot easier, okay? Me, personally, man, I wouldn't want to get in a slugfest with that motherfucker. Why? I'd hit him with some good shots, nail him with some, get his attention, then smother him like Andre Ward does and tie him up. It's ugly, but it's effective, all right? You do what you got to do to win, all right?
Well, we'll see what happens this Saturday night. We look at the odds. Most racing sports books, they love this matchup. They think it's going to be very competitive, and they have Jermell listed as the 2.5 to 1 betting favorite, with Brian Castano being the very live plus 200 or 2 to 1 betting underdog. Gogue, we're at the halfway point of the show. Who do you like in this matchup? What is your official Gogue prediction?
Who do I want to win? I want my boy Charlo to win. I want him to knock Castano the fuck out. That's what I want. But in reality, it depends on how, like I said, Castano's a tough fighter, man. Let me tell you. But Charlo, Jermell, he's got that confidence and that arrogance and swagger. He know that he could deal with whatever Castano brings to the table. Now, if Charlo fights a game plan similar to what I just told you, he should win the fight and everything, okay? But if he fights Castano's fight, man, let me tell you, it's the playing field evens out, okay? You know what I mean? But if he fights intelligently, controlling that range and distance as best as he can, get his attention right off the bat, man. Busting him up with jabs, landing them straight right hands down the middle. And Castano's a tough motherfucker, boy. But I always say, when you keep hitting the rock, it's gonna crack. And that's what Charlo's got to keep doing. Keep hitting that damn rock. But the thing to me, Joe, is the composure. The composure and poise he's got to keep in the tough moments during the fight when Castano has his moments, okay? You know what I mean? Just handle him like a man, like a champion, like no big deal. Then pay the motherfucker back, okay? Okay? You turn the momentum around back to your side, okay? That's what champions do, all right? They might have some bad moments in the fight, but guess what? They got that competitive fire, that competitive spirit in them, that championship attitude to turn the tide, to get the momentum back on their side. And that's what I'm expecting my boy Jermell Charlo to do, and still undefeated, undisputed, heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, and there you have it. Coach Gogue likes the Iron Man, Jermell Charlo, in this matchup, but he expects a very tough, gritty performance from both.
That motherfucker. Oh, yeah.
Well, our brother Ruben joins us, and he says Castano will win by demolition. He is a bull. Thank you, Ruben, for joining us. And that very well could happen, guys. The bookmakers, they love this matchup. They think Castano is a very live underdog going into this. But Gogue, I would tell you what Teddy Atlas is predicting, but unfortunately he's been busy covering the UFC, and he's been on Conor McGregor's jock praising him. So he's been covering UFC. He's been busy with that. But Coach Gogue likes Jermell to win and become the undisputed unified 154 champion this Saturday. And guys, we're going to give you guys complete coverage, interviews from both camps, all this week. We're going to be covering everything live. And we'll also set up one-on-one interviews with Coach Gogue later on this week. So stay tuned for that, guys. But let's take a look at this past Friday night's action. I tell you what, from L.A., and once again, a lot of fans were questioning, man, you know what? Friday's my date night with my girl. Why did De La Hoya have to schedule this on Friday? Well, it's because he didn't want to compete with Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3. And he made the smart decision because he actually wanted people to tune in. In your main event of the evening on DAZN, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez gets the KO4 over, well, once game, Sullivan Barrera. This was a matchup, Gogue, that I really liked 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Sullivan Barrera is not the same fighter.
He showed up for a paycheck, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's the way it looked, Gogue. I just didn't want to take anything away from Zurdo Ramirez.
Yeah, you know, he did what he's supposed to do. I like that combination he threw that dropped Barrera the first time. That jab, left hand, right hook, come back with that left uppercut to the liver. That's a beautiful combination for a long, rangy fighter like Zurdo.
Yeah, so what's next for Zurdo Ramirez? Obviously, Dimitri Bivol and his team were watching the fight. They also compete on DAZN. They're signed with Matchroom Sports. Who do you like in this matchup? It's a very interesting style matchup and one that Dimitri Bivol, well, doesn't usually like or favor. He still fights like an amateur, liking to keep anything from range. How would he handle the pressure of Zurdo Ramirez? Do you like this matchup, sir?
I like the matchup. Bivol, man, he's a good little, like I said, because of his amateur background, he's a good little boxer, a cutie pie from range, in and out, good footwork, and he can punch. You know what I mean? Puts his combinations together good. This is a good solid matchup. Good solid matchup. Zurdo, of course, he's an aggressive fighter. Okay, he's Mexican. Okay, I've never seen a Mexican that likes to apply the sweet science for fucking 12 rounds. Okay, they're fighters. All right. So Joe, me personally, if Zurdo starts slowly putting that pressure and getting that distance right, Bivol can't fight in the trenches, and that will be Ramirez's advantage. To Ramirez's advantage if he could get that distance. See, Joe, winning fights is all about distance, okay? Mm-hmm. Which fighter can apply his game plan where he fights the best? Zurdo, to me, he's not no fucking boxer that can, sweet science. I mean, he's a guy that likes to mix it up, get close to you. And if you get close to this Bivol, and, I give him the advantage because Bivol, he's all about range and distance. Mm-hmm. Range and distance. And because the motherfucker can hit, he'll hurt you and he'll get your attention early and it'll make you more hesitant on trying to, come forward because you don't want to get hit by them heavy hands of Bivol. Mm-hmm. So it's an intriguing matchup. I haven't studied the matchup. I'm just going in my head by how they fight, but that Bivol hasn't improved shit since a pro. He still fights like he does in the amateurs, but it's effective and it wins. So you know what I mean?
Well, it's been effective up to this point, and so is Zurdo Ramirez, who improved his record to 42-0. Well, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, that matchup is realized later this year. Hopefully, both teams get together and make this happen. It'd be a great fight. Let's go back to Charlo real quick. Haplo says this, Gogue, and he says, Charlo will win. Is there any doubt on any of these fights? Showcase showdown, in the immortal words of Bob Barker of Price is Right. Well, Haplo, thank you for joining us, and thank you for your commentary, but most sports books, including James Gogue, would disagree with you that this matchup is not a foregone conclusion. This is anyone's fight. If you think Brian Castano is flying all the way from Argentina just to earn a paycheck, think again. He's the current WBO junior middleweight champion and should be an excellent and dare I say fight of the year candidate, Gogue.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, guys. Let's go back to this past Friday's fight card once again. In your co-main event of the evening, Jo Diaz, in his first fight at 135 pounds, gets the UD12 over the very awkward Javier Fortuna to pick up the interim, whatever that means, WBC Lightweight title. Gogue, what did you think about the decision? What did you think about Jo Diaz's performance?
You know what? I thought he would beat that Fortuna guy, okay? That Fortuna guy never developed the inside game, okay? And Diaz, when he took him inside, that was the difference. He put his combinations together better. He fought more intelligently and with a higher skill level at close range. Fortuna was just leaning on you, lunging at you, and basically fighting for survival. The kid ain't got no inside skills. His is boxing, range, medium distance. But when you get him in the pocket, he don't know how to sit in the pocket like a Pernell Whitaker and fight effectively, okay, with offense and defense. And this Diaz, I thought he was a better, he's got a good inside game, and I thought he would apply that tactic when he fought a guy like Fortuna who doesn't have an inside game. So guess what, Joe? You got a guy that knows how to fight in the pocket against a guy that doesn't know how. Who do you think's gonna fucking win? And I mean, that was easy pickings.
So what's next for Jo Diaz? Do you think he petitions the WBC to force a fight with Devin Haney later this year?
I don't know, Joe, man. Me, I like to see Ryan Garcia, the Battle of LA. That would be huge at Staples Center. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
inside. Well, man, this fucking COVID, man. God dang, man.
Yeah.
You can't, until you get that shit under control. California, they're the Boy Scout, the Girl Scouts of America, with their policies, and they don't want nobody getting sick, so they're gonna have limited seating. But damn, that place will sell out, man. I think Ryan Garcia, he's got a big following. He's a big, to me, that fight is hot. That's an LA fight. You got two LA fighters, and when you got two LA fighters fighting, it makes sense. Don Chargan made a great glorious Hall of Fame career at the Olympic by staging inner city rivalries. Okay, fighting each other. De La Hoya, when he fought Mosley, they packed the place. Yeah, that's an LA fight, Joe. You don't take a fight like that and take it to Atlantic fucking City, or you know what I mean.
Well, not unless you're PVC.
Look, Joe. Don Chargan always told me, Hall of Fame Don Chargan always told me, when you got a great matchup, you got to put it in the right place, or it don't make sense. Okay, L.A. Joseph Diaz versus Ryan Garcia. That means more than that fucking Devin Haney, man. Fucking, got a belt, big deal. The Horn matchup is that Garcia kid.
Well, fans, boxing fans in and around the LA area would agree with you, Coach.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the fight card this past Friday, and let's look at the opening bout of the televised portion of the DAZN coverage. William Zepeda, the irresistible force, stops, and it proves to be too much for the formerly undefeated Hector Tanajara from San Antonio, Texas, to pick up the WBC Continental Americas Lightweight title, the WBA Continental Americas Lightweight title. Gogue, were you impressed with William Zepeda, and will he be a problem for most lightweight contenders?
Hell yeah, he'll be a problem. It's just his relentless, fearless pressure, his volume combination punching attack he brings to the table. He's like that Castano. He's like that Devonchenko, but he's a southpaw, Joe. That gives him an advantage. When you're a good southpaw pressure fighter, you have an advantage over a right-handed fighter because those punches are coming from different angles you're not used to. And that's what the Zepeda brings to the table. You know what I mean? And he has that nice high guard defense where it's hard to penetrate. Okay? And he's relentless. He's physically and mentally tough. He's resilient. He's heavy-handed. Yeah, Joe. And he goes up and down with his combinations, hits you from all angles. Ooh. He's a handful, Joe, that Zepeda. I like him. It's like I think the second time I seen him fight. I like the guy. And it's just, Tanajara, man. He just didn't have the skill sets or nothing in his arsenal to fight this guy. 2 for 2, nail for nail in the pocket and everything. Plus, he didn't have no punching power. It's like I said, Joe. When you fight a fucking bully like him, Derevchenko, or that Castano, man, they're bullies. How do you prevent him from taking your lunch money? I always say you got to punch him right in the fucking mouth. You got to get his attention. Tanajara never got his attention early on.
Nope.
And I just kept marching forward. It was a good stoppage by Robert and the manager, Rick Maragon. Yeah, Rick, I heard Rick Maragon went in the corner. Hey, I think you should stop it. Robert Diaz, I heard too, which is the right thing to do. You don't want a kid to take. Tanajara's got a big set of balls. He would have kept fighting. You know what I mean? But why? There's live to fight another day. It was just a bad style matchup for the kid. But the kid, he's got to learn from this fight. He's got to learn how to fight in the trenches better when he fights a bully like Zepeda, which he will come across again.
Yep.
Okay. You got to learn how to fight guys like that in the trenches. You can't be cute and play the sweet science on a guy like Zepeda. That shit don't count. I like Zepeda. Like I said, there's great fights out there for him. Ryan Garcia. Who the fuck? But man, who the fuck wants to fight?
I'd love to see Zepeda versus Devin Haney to see how Devin Haney handles that kind of pressure.
Devin Haney ain't gonna want to fight that guy, man. Them guys.
Well, let me throw this one out to you, and this one is highly unlikely. That's why I didn't mention that to begin with. Once again, Devin Haney right now is a free agent. He isn't signed with anyone, so he is open season for anybody, depending on who he signs with. But what about Coach Isaac Cruz versus William Zepeda?
Oh, that'd be a war, but you're only dreaming, Joe.
I know.
Tom Gibbons ain't gonna allow that. Okay, Tom Gibbons, his agent ain't gonna allow that. So
no, he's not gonna allow that.
Look, Joe, there's a lot of good fighters in Golden Boy stable who you can fight. There's that. There's Ryan Garcia's number one. There's what's that guy's name? Oscar Duarte. You know what I mean?
Oscar Duarte. Yep.
And they probably got a couple other guys. They can fight. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a shame we don't see
that Angel Fierro, the guy
Fierro.
that knocked out Machado. He's with the Zone. So he's with the Zone. De La Hoya is with the Zone. So that fight could be made. You know what I mean?
Indeed. Well, let's hope we look forward to seeing more William Zepeda in the ring.
Yeah, I like
because he brings it. He's a fun fighter to watch. He's got heavy hands. He's fearless. What's not to like? Guys, we would be remiss if we didn't recognize Seneisa Estrada winning the UD10 over Tenkai Tsunami to pick up the female WBO Junior Flyweight title. What did you like about Senissa's gritty performance over the Tsunami, Coach?
You know how I feel about women boxing, but I like her. I like that Seneisa Estrada. She's my favorite women fighter out there to watch. Yeah.
Yep.
Every time she fights, I make sure I watch her because she's a ball of energy, boy. She's a fighter. Okay, she has no fear. She fights with a lot of fury, a lot of fire, a lot of passion, a lot of energy. Okay, and she's skilled. She's got good skills. She's switches back and forth, southpaw. She goes to the head, to the body. You know what I mean? And she's got that attitude, boy. Like forget that she's a woman. She's a fighter. Okay, Joe. I like her. And that girl she fought, Tsunami. That was a tough Jap. Just like the men from Japan are tough and durable, physical, fearless. That Tsunami was, she came in there not wanting. She came in there, and she was just going to give her title up. She made Estrada earn it. Okay, but Seneisa, you're my favorite fighter for women out there. Every time she fights, I make sure I tune in, because she's fun to watch, man, Joe. She's, like I said, she's a ball of energy. They're trying to promote women's boxing nowadays and everything. So, Yeah, she's good though. Her and that other girl, two other girls are trying to, that Katie Taylor, which is good, because she's got a big fan base in Ireland, and that Michaela Mayer, yeah, she's another good.
Michaela Meyer.
Fighter.
Yep.
Yeah, them are three good female fighters I like seeing, and there's other good ones out there too. I'm pretty sure, but that Seneisa, yeah, that's my favorite because of. Man, she's like Roberto Duran, boy. She don't give a fuck. She's just gonna try to whoop your ass, and she's got that confidence, the swagger in her. Okay, Joe, that she can't lose. That she's gonna beat your ass, and that's I like that in a fighter. Like Duran. You know what I mean? But outside of the ring, she's promotes herself real well. She's very professional, very humble, very thankful, and engaging personality. Very intelligent. You ever watch her call fights?
Yep, she's very knowledgeable. Yep.
Yeah, very knowledgeable. Ringside on that Ring City boxing series or that show she did with Facebook. Yeah, she did a good job, man. She's very She has a career in that if she decides to do it because like I said, she's a fighter. She understands boxing. She understands the pain, the sacrifices, and the dedication that a fighter has to go through. Because watching and researching her, she started this 20 years ago. So shit. Yep. And she's been dedicated. She's been dedicated to her craft for 20 years. That means that she made a lot of sacrifices. See, Joe, she's 29. She's not married. She ain't got kids. A lot of women, by the time they're 23, 24, they want kids and want a home life. But, she forgone all that. Foregone all that so she could focus on her career. And she's got a great career, man. She's good for boxing. She's building a lot of buzz in the LA area where people want to see her fight. You know what I mean? Because like I said, Joe, she's a promoter's dream. You know what I mean? Not only she puts on great fights, but she promotes the fights real good. You know what I mean? And she don't have no prima donna attitude like Miss Clarissa Shields, where I'm the greatest women fighter of all time. You need to watch me. You know what I mean? All that. I like her. I'll support her and what do you call it? I'll tune in every time I get a chance. Yeah.
Yep. What's not to like? So congratulations to Seneisa Estrada. Joseph Jackson joins us and he says she's a little Bud Crawford. Well, I tell you what, she seems to be the total package. She seems to have a very high ring IQ. And most important, she seems to be absolutely fearless in the ring. Oh, so yeah, looking forward to seeing her, more of her. Let's just hope fans don't pick apart her resume, just like Bud Crawford, and merely enjoy the fights. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, let's go back to the PBC card this coming up Saturday night. Gogue, we forgot to mention, and because it's very forgettable. And obviously, guys, this is being televised on regular subscriber Showtime. So the main event pretty much took up all of the money. So what we're getting in the co-main event, Gogue, your favorite WBA lightweight titleist, Rolando Romero, makes his return to the ring against Austin Delay. Are you looking forward to seeing Rolly again in the ring?
Well, Joe, his last fight he improved. Okay, he had some deficiencies in his skills, especially boxing. Working off his jab. He improved in his last fight. He showed me that ability to use his jab better, more effectively. So, and he was more calm and patient, and not just trying to load up on one shot. So he gotten better just going off that last fight. I don't know anything about that Dulé guy he's fighting. I've probably seen him fight, but I forgot his name. So therefore, he didn't show me shit. So, make it like that.
Indeed. And to open up the triple header, it's going to be Amilcar Vidal versus Emmanuel Alim.
Oh, Alim, I like.
Yep, in the middleweight division at 160 pounds. This is an excellent matchup to start everything on with.
Excellent.
What do you like about this fight, Gogue, and who do you favor?
I can't recall watching another guy fight, but I like Alim. Off his last performance, I think Victor Pasillas. Oh, box beautiful, box intelligently, fast, sharp combinations, counters. He did a very, very good job in beating a tough opponent in Casillas. Good puncher, southpaw. and it's just good ring intelligence, good movement, good boxing ability, countering, and all that. Good ring IQ. I like Aleem. Yeah, he's a good fighter. I'm looking forward to that fight and everything. He's a solid 122-pound champion that can win a belt. Okay, he could challenge for a belt and realistically win a belt.
Yep, and well, he's going to be taking on undefeated Amilcar Vidal, who's 12-0 with 11 knockouts from Uruguay.
From where?
Uruguay.
Who the fuck is he?
Well, we'll find out this Saturday night. It's going to open up your triple header broadcast on Showtime. Gogue, we have about 5 minutes left in the program. I didn't want to devote very much time to this. But it was just announced on Friday that Tyson Fury had indeed tested positive for COVID, postponing his trilogy match with Deontay Wilder all the way back to October 9th. And there have been so many absurd conspiracy theories surrounding this. Guys, I got the direct message from a member of Tyson Fury's team. And yes, he did get COVID, guys. This is not a conspiracy because ticket sales weren't well. This is not someone just trying to back out of the fight. In fact, Gogue, can you remind fans how much goes into this and how much this is costing both promoters when something like this is pushed back to October 9th?
Shit, costing them a lot of money. But the thing is, can I talk about it, Joe? What we talked about earlier about,
Go ahead, sir.
Tyson Fury, he got one, he got that Moderna vaccine. He only got one shot. He didn't get the other one. So whose fault is it for him catching COVID? All right?
Yep. That's it, guys. And look, once again, guys, everyone, even though you're vaccinated, guys, this is a different variant of the COVID virus.
Look,
please exercise caution, guys.
No, you gotta look. You're getting ready for an important fight like this. You gotta have somebody in your camp controlling all these factors. Okay, making sure all your sparring partners are fucking vaccinated, or they ain't sparring. Period.
Yep.
Making sure the people that come in the gym, in and out. No, you have to have a closed camp setting. Everybody that's in your camp better be damn near vaccinated, and keep it, like I said, tight in the bubble at the house. You know what I mean? And especially the sparring partners, man. You get sparring partners. Hey, it's Vegas. What do they want to do? They want to go party and have a good time after they're done sparring. Okay.
Well,
you got to keep them in the bubble. You got to keep them in the bubble and let them know that, hey, man, you come here. You better be vaccinated, but you ain't gonna be out there partying all the time. You're gonna be put away somewhere in a hotel or in a house and everything. Because Joe, this is different times nowadays, man. This shit like Tiafimo's fight can count. Can kill fights, postpone fights. So you gotta have you gotta set up rules of protocol.
Yep.
On how to control this shit.
Yep, guys, and upon doing my research, once again, their team, specifically Javen, seems to think that they brought someone in who was asymptomatic but actually had the virus. And they flew someone in for sparring who infected everyone in camp.
Yeah, but I bet you that guy wasn't vaccinated.
He wasn't vaccinated, nope. But even Tyson Fury only got his first vaccination. Guys, you still have a 65% chance of catching the Delta variant, even if you're vaccinated once. So once again, guys,
whose fault is it, bro?
It's Tyson Fury's. He's a veteran.
Wilder, okay?
Nope.
I'm being
can't
fair.
Blame Wilder. Can't blame Arum. Can't blame Javen. Look, this was his responsibility, and look how much money he's costing both promoters.
But look, I try to play fair as much as possible. Sometimes, I get a bias towards a certain fighter. I'll favor more, like my boy Charlo. I want him to knock Castano the fuck out. But Tyson Fury. I mean, that Wilder. I'm not a big, I don't care for his antics or anything, but you can't blame him. His camp did their job. Okay. Yep. Tyson Fury and his camp didn't do their job. Whoever runs their circus over there. So who do you blame? It's Tyson Fury in this camp.
Yep, guys. And once again, they still have to follow strict protocol because Kevin Perry joins us. And thank you, IOTBA, my brother, Ray Bradshaw. Thank you for joining us as well. But Kevin Perry just stated you can still catch COVID if you're vaccinated. Absolutely 100% correct. Yep.
But your odds go down.
Huh? Oh, your odds decrease. Absolutely. Yeah. But even if you've got the Johnson & Johnson, even if you have the Pfizer or the Moderna, you still have a 10 to 15% chance of catching the new Delta variant, guys. That's less than 1 out of 10 times you're exposed. So, guys, please practice caution. And I'm sure every promotion leading up to this is now going to see what can happen. You just saw Teofimo Lopez catch it. That promotion was derailed. You just saw Tyson Fury catch it. This promotion is now derailed. And so anyone thinks it's because of slumping ticket sales, you're wrong. Okay, because keep in mind, with the NFL season in full swing, as well as the World Series, ticket sales aren't going to get any better, guys. You just have more competition in the American sports market now. This is the last thing all parties involved wanted. So no more of the conspiracy theories, guys. So thank you, Kevin, for joining us. IOTBA says, yep, Castano going to get Charlo, I think, Coach. What do you have to say about that, Coach Gogue?
You never know. Hey, the odds are close, Joe. Joe, the odds are close.
Yep.
All right? They're not, real spread out. I mean, they're not heavily favored in Charlo.
Nope.
In Charlo's court.
He's only a 2.5 to 1 betting favorite on most sports books, Gogue.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great fight. Can't wait to cover this one. I'm going to be ringside for it, guys.
Excellent.
And once again, we'll have all exclusive interviews for everyone on this channel all week long. Ruben comments. He says the fight will look a lot like Mayweather versus Maidana. What do you think about that comparison, Coach?
You know what? You never know. Ruben, it could. If Jermell don't get his attention early on and get this tough, relentless Argentines respect early on and loses his composure and poise, he could lose control of the fight. Yeah. But like I said, man, I'm excited, but I'm pulling for my boy Charlo. You know what I mean? To land them big right hands and big uppercuts and keep punishing him with that jab. As the fight goes on, yeah. I expect him to close the show and knock him the fuck out, but we'll see.
Well, Correa actually adds this. He says, Joe, the ref favors Castano.
Who is the ref?
I don't know that yet. If it's Mark Calloway, our friend, right? Then yes, that's absolutely right, because you know as well as I do, Correa, Mark Calloway does not let you hold.
Yeah.
So that's
a real ref.
Yep. And also, Rafael Ramos is another popular referee, Hall of Famer in Texas, who doesn't let you hold. John Shorley also doesn't allow excessive holding. So the three premier referees who more than likely will get this assignment, you're absolutely right. It favors the aggressive guy who likes to work on the inside. Castano fought well against Lara. Absolutely he did. And in my opinion, Kevin, I thought he deserved to get that victory. Instead, it was a split draw. Great fight. Last comment. Coach, what does Charlo have to do early to be successful in this fight? Now, once again, he went over this earlier in the show, and in case you missed any part of it, it's going to be available. Go ahead, sir.
Correa?
It's Correa Bradshaw.
Yeah, from D-Town.
Yep.
The Metroplex.
Yep.
Okay, he's got to get his attention earlier. Man, this dude's a bully, Corey. How do you deal with the bully that's trying to take your lunch money? You punch him right in the fucking mouth. Get his respect. Get his attention early on. That's going to set the tone of the fight, okay? All right? But if he doesn't get his attention early on or doesn't put no fear in him, okay? Yeah, this guy is just going to be a raging bull all night, okay? But to me, Charlo has that, I don't know, to me, he has that power to do that. He has that, that snappy jab to bust you up round by round by round. Then he's got that right hand right behind it, okay? Yep. Then he's got that uppercut, okay? Then he's got them hooks to the body, the left, okay? If he has to deal with it. Charlo has every punch in the book he could throw in to hurt this guy. But this guy, he's relentless. He's in tip-top physical condition, and he has that physical mindset to never quit. The Joe Frazier attitude. Joe Frazier's attitude when he fought was never say die. Yeah, that's what Castano is. Never say die attitude. Yeah.
And expect, great fight. And yep, absolutely. It's one of the best style matchups of the year. And expect guys, Jermell, because he's an ambush fighter. What he likes to do is to catch you coming in. He will start moving laterally, and then he'll quickly jump inside, bust you with the two-piece down the middle, and quickly turn you. If that doesn't have any effect on Castano, look out. We'll find out what happens, guys. But I tell you what, Correa also points out Castano has a very good, deep amateur pedigree. And
yes, he does.
Coach Gogue touched on that. Yep.
I know Castano in the amateurs out of Argentina. He's tough, solid guy.
Well, guys, we look forward to that, and that pretty much concludes the program. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Coach Gogue, do you have any parting shots for our listening audience this evening?
No. We're going to be starting to do this show consistently every Sunday night at 9. That's when I have free time and everything, because during the week I'm busy. So every Sunday night at 9, we'll start going live. All you fans start, what do you call it? Joining in on the discussion, giving your input. No stupid shit now, okay? I don't put up with that shit. No ignorant shit. But,
don't worry, Coach. I'll weed all that out, sir.
Intelligent boxing. Let's have talk about the intelligent aspects of boxing or the fights coming up in an intelligent manner. Not no bullshit you see on Twitter all the time or all the fanboys out there. But I'm waiting for this fight. I'm excited about the fight. To me, great style matchups make great fights. The atmosphere in San Antonio, a great fight fan, a great fight fan city. But let me tell you, man, I think, like you said, Joe, I think they're going to be pulling for the Argentine because they're Hispanic.
I'd be willing to bet my house on it, Coach.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Correa, he joined us late. He says, damn, I missed the show. Well, that's all right. As soon as we actually click off, you guys can click on the link and you can hear it all the way from the beginning. Correa, thank you for joining us. And like Gogue said, he likes to talk about the matchups and the real stories in boxing, the strategy, the odds, the prediction, the keys to victory. So all of the other stuff, all of the other fan-driven noise that goes on, well, that's going to be for Correa and I tomorrow. we don't want to waste Gogue's time with that stuff.
National Enquirer, I call it. That's that National Enquirer shit. CNN, fake news shit. All right.
So, guys, get ready for that. Correa and I are going to do a special show tomorrow addressing all of the BS, like Correa has to say. But, guys, that's just going to about do it, guys. And don't forget, this show is always brought to you by FightSaga.com. Guys, for all the latest boxing news, please go visit FightSaga.com. But on behalf of Coach James Gogue, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to War Week Radio Network. Have a wonderful Sunday evening, everybody.